Why can't I hear you?
Now you can hear me, right?
Oh my God, I was about to say, what the frick?
Because during that countdown started freezing up again.
Oh, it's freezing. Okay, well, I mean, we can deal with the freezing. We just don't want the audio issues. Like,
Yeah, that would be a problem if you can't hear him. Well, I don't know. It might not be a problem because then people would hear more of you, and then people would be like, "Well,
no one's here to hear me, so I just would not even talk. I would just be here
just stand
silent.
there and just do this." All right. Uh, telling you, they think the show is getting too powerful, Lana, and there are forces trying to keep us down.
Agreed.
I think that's what it is. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. It is Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. And we're going to start this show this time by asking you to subscribe and like the show right off the bat. We don't even care that we haven't said anything. We're going to ask you to do it anyway. Then we'll ask you again later, see if just in case you were holding out. But I always forget to do that, Lana, and so I wanted to do that tonight.
Yes, good job.
Get that out of the way. All right. So tonight is the State of the Union. Lana, her and I were just talking about that, and I've already made the decision that I'm not even sure, I'll be honest, maybe the first one. I don't think I've ever sat through a Donald Trump State of the Union address.
Yeah, not like all the way through.
Yeah. I don't think I've even like flipped it on because I have zero interest to sit there. I guarantee you and I can predict everything he's going to say right now, and we'll get more than half of them right.
For sure.
Yep. Biden, Obama, he's going to bring up the tariffs.
The Dow is great. We're making so much money. And
yeah, the U.S. Olympic team, obviously. I think Erica Kirk is going to be there, so they're going to jerk Charlie Kirk all night. So I don't know. That whole Charlie Kirk thing didn't work out exactly how they thought it would. It did for a few days where it looked like, oh, he was going to be the martyr, and now everybody they were going to. And then just like everything in America, people forget. They just let things go on, and people forget about it. But
except the Epstein thing, right?
Except the Epstein, because that's one thing that is going to be impossible for it to go away for numerous reasons that Lana and I touched on last week. One, this is a bipartisan anger effort. There's anger on both sides of the aisle about this, and like major players on the right, influencers on the right, that will not let this go. So when you have both, guess what the mainstream media gets to do? They get to stay involved in it because they're getting permission from the left and from the right that they can continue to report about this. Unfortunately, they lean too much. If the right says you're not allowed to report about it, then they don't report about it as much. But that's the biggest problem I think that we have. But the biggest news, let's start with what happened, Lana, on Friday. The Supreme Court, oh God. Are we frozen?
Oh, I don't know. Are we? I didn't think so.
Okay, it's back. I don't know what the fuck's happening, but Supreme Court on Friday ruled that Donald Trump's tariffs were illegal because Donald Trump said that we needed to enact these blanket tariffs on the United States or on other countries because of the International Emergency Economics Powers Act. And the Supreme Court looked at that particular act and said, there's nothing in here. It says you can implement these tariffs on this. But here is, Lana, and this is always fun to watch, when Fox News has to break the news. This is Fox News breaking the news about Donald Trump's tariffs.
We do. We've got a very fractured opinion, but initially what it says, we know it's authored, the primary opinion, by the Chief Justice, and says essentially that this IEPA, this law that grants the president emergency powers, did not, it looks like by this first blush reading by Justice, the Chief Justice here, does not give him the power to levy these tariffs that he's levied.
Was that it?
I don't know.
I guess I'm just telling you there are some problems going on. Okay, so that's the ruling that was happening on Friday. Now the impact of that are a lot of the companies that paid these tariffs, since it is deemed illegal, are going to want their money back. So all of this revenue that Donald Trump bragged about with the tariffs and said that the $2,000 stimulus checks are coming because of the revenue of this of these tariffs, obviously are going to have to go back to these companies once they sue and say, hey, we illegally paid these tariffs for no reason. The Supreme Court said so. We want our money back. So any revenue that was collected by the government has got to go back to these companies.
Right. Which will not in turn lower their prices for the American people.
That's the question. And I am deeply interested to find out whether or not these corporations are going to do just like they did. See, because this is going to be so fucked up because the corporations are going to win again. They're going to get all this money back and keep their prices the same.
Yeah.
Just like they did with the pandemic.
Right. They never lower prices. Once they go up, they go up. They never go back down.
But of course, it doesn't even matter because Donald Trump, let's say that in a perfect world that the prices do go back down and the corporations do lower their prices. This fucking moron is so intent on imposing tariffs on everybody that he found Article 122 and said that what we're going to do is we're just going to impose tariffs. 15% is the max that we can impose. So we're going to impose 15% tariffs on everybody because I will not lose this. He is just determined not to lose this. However, he did have comments after it, and it was so fucking confusing. The Supreme Court basically gave him a win here. They basically gave him an out to say, okay, you screwed up. Let's let this one go and just move on with your life.
Right.
Here he's talking about the ruling, and in one breath he says that they could have done this a long time ago. This is great, but it's not, I don't know. Try to see if you can figure it out, Lana.
At a very
Oh, interesting. It won't play. No, it's not.
important point. I've been waiting for this decision so long. They could have made this decision a long time ago. Not complex. They're wrong on it. It's a ridiculous decision, but they should have released this a long time ago. We waited months, and that gave uncertainty. Now we have certainty, and I think you're going to see the country get much stronger because of it. Look, we were ripped off by almost every country in the world. If you,
Oh my God.
you look at the surpluses, almost every country.
I don't know what's happening.
I had that issue when I did my show, whenever I did my show. Like there were certain videos that weren't, they just didn't play. I didn't understand what was happening. Maybe it's the site.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if this is going to be a problem all night, but let me just try to play one more time here.
Okay.
In the world that did business with us, our people were stupid. And I blame presidents for it because they're ultimately the leader. We were being ripped off by almost every single country in the world had some massive surpluses. China had hundreds of billions. Billions of dollars in surpluses with the United States. They rebuilt China.
Ooh.
They rebuilt the army. We built China's army by allowing.
Okay, something's going on here. Let me do something real quick. Lana, let's just chat for a second.
Sure.
Let me see if I can figure something out.
Quite interesting here about these tariffs. It's just like, oh my, you're right. Take the win, just walk away. He is obsessed with tariffs. Like he knows what they're doing. So that just goes to show you, like, he's just more concerned with what he wants to do. Like he just doesn't care. Like if he started that, you can't tell him that he can't do tariffs. He doesn't care if it hurts the American people.
He's so intent on doing this, and the reason why he wants to impose these tariffs on all these countries is because it's the leverage that he has over these countries. This is why he gets fucking gifts handed to them from other countries, trying to bow down to him. So they'll do whatever it is he asked them to do and maybe work out a separate deal on tariffs so they don't get tariffed as much. And
which is just kind of stupid. Like there's no there's no way in the world that America is cutting deals that are not beneficial to America. You're not going to tell me before Trump came along, America was like, oh, we're just losing all this money, and we're letting them get away. We don't do that. That's just not even American presidents do that. Come on. That's not true.
No, it is not. Let me try to play this one more time, see if it goes through now.
I have a great relationship with President Xi, but he respects our country now. Now, what we've done, I charged China a 20% tariff as a penalty for sending fentanyl in. And that was 20 times more than they could make by selling fentanyl. And I said, at some point you're going to say, and they have reduced it. Fentanyl is down by more than 30% coming into our country. Part of that is our strong border. We have a strong border now. But thank you. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, all right.
It's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, Lana, but, hopefully, like I said, everything that I'm seeing is leading to good things. Everything that I'm seeing is showing that we're on the right track just to absolutely blow out. I've talked to some people the other day, and they're worried about ICE. They're worried about showing up at the polls. They're worried about all this stuff. I think we talked about this. I think Minneapolis showed the strength that I think that we're going to be showing moving forward with this country, whether it be more nonsense that happens before the elections or at the polls when they decide they are going to show up at their ICE agents. People are going to roll in there and just go, I don't give a fuck about your ICE. I'm showing up here to vote. Not to mention all these idiots are going to be doing it in blue states, blue cities, blue counties, which are going to be run by blue governors and blue mayors. Right. And you're going to be able to combat any ICE presence there as well.
Right.
So
and what they're not going to expect, and what very well may happen, is that a lot of those districts that went for Trump, that they think that they're going to win, they're not going to win. You know what I mean? Like because this is the part that I really don't understand. For instance, they're focused on Fulton County, sending ICE or whoever around Fulton County trying to suppress those votes. It doesn't matter. Like, even if you suppress Fulton County's votes, it's going to turn out for Democrats. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to win that county regardless. So when you put ICE in heavily Democratic places, how does that help you when it's going to go Democratic regardless? Like, even if some of those votes are suppressed, it's still a Democratic county. Like,
I think their plan, though, is, Lana, if they feel like it's anywhere close enough, like, let's say Fulton County is a certain percentage every single time, but the percentage is lower this time, then they can claim some sort of fraud, some sort of nonsense, that they've been doing. Again, this is the other kind of thing that pisses me off so bad about the media, that they just allowed them to continue to say that there was fraudulent activity I know they've done a decent job of combating it once in a while, but this should just be them pressing every fucking Republican every day who keeps saying these lies and ask them, make them prove it. Say, prove it right now. Let's go to your office. Let's set up a time where you can sit down and show me the proof. If you're going to keep saying this over and over and over again, and then they'll just say, well, we're not going to talk to any more of these fake news media. Then they'll just go on Fox News, and Fox News, of course, will just let them say whatever the fuck they want to. But speaking of Fox News, this is Fox News even talking about Donald Trump's tariffs and the popularity, how they sit with the American people.
Well, next one, John. A new poll found that 64% are against President Trump's tariffs. Is Is it a losing proposition for Trump? I'm asking you a political question, I guess, but what do you think? Is this what's causing the
It is a losing
disapproval?
proposition. My goodness, the Supreme Court gave Trump an exit ramp to get away
Right.
from tariffs, to get away from his obsession with tariffs as being a cure-all for what ails the U.S. economy. He didn't take advantage of it. When people voted him into office, they wanted a containment of price inflation, less price inflation. And unfortunately, there is no way in the world that the imposition of tariffs helps Trump and the Republican Party help to make America affordable again.
There was a study by a Federal Reserve economist and group, I think, that said, look, 90% of the tariffs have been passed on to American consumers and businesses. Now, Kevin Hassett, the president's chief economic advisor, says that's a faulty study. Ignore it. What do you say? Were the tariffs passed on to consumers?
Well,
The prices of tradable goods, of
90%.
tangible goods for the most part, are higher than otherwise because of tariffs. You know, right now we have goods price inflation at about 1.7%. Some might say, well, that's tolerable. But if we go back to Trump's first term in office, prior to COVID, goods price inflation didn't exist. I think we had goods price deflation for the most part. The prices of manufactured goods, tradable goods, were generally flat to somewhat lower. And that's what I think voters expected when they put Trump back in office, but that's not what they're seeing.
Okay, got it. John Lonsky, thanks so much. We'll see you again real soon.
there are two words that I can't fucking stand more than anything are voters expected something from fucking
I was
Donald.
thinking the same thing. I'm just like, what are you, an idiot? He told you that he loved the word tariffs. He said he made it up. He said it was a beautiful word. And he said that's what he was going to do. And then remember, after he was elected, the word that was most Googled was tariffs.
Yeah.
Because people was like, oh, two things. I thought he was going to deport the worst of the worst.
Right.
And I didn't think I would have to pay for the tariffs. It's like, well, what do you think Kamala was telling you the whole time? But you didn't listen.
The amount of percentage of people that were hurt by the tariffs, they were saying that there's a study showed that it was passed on to consumers. Well, no fucking shit. Like, why do you need a study for that one? I think the study showed that 90% was passed on to tariffs, and it's close to the same percentage of the worst of the worst. A large percentage of the people that ICE have detained have no criminal record whatsoever.
Detained, not even deported.
Right.
Detained.
Right.
They're not even being deported.
Worst of the worst, Lana. But that was everything that happened last week. This next clip, it's a little bit longer, but I think it's worth listening to every bit of it, because there was a news story that broke today that there was supposed to be an investigation into Donald Trump and the Epstein files, and these Epstein files are now, or these interviews or whatever it was, is missing in these Epstein files currently, which is just unbelievable. Another story that should not go away. But this woman on MS Now, she explains, everything that I was just speaking about. She will explain it much clearer than I will. But let's take a listen. It's a longer clip, but I think this one is worth listening to.
Yeah, I love her.
Reporting, walk us through it.
Well, Anna, one of the things I can tell you is that based on documents that are available in the Epstein files, and we're just going to hold up to you what allowed us to get to this reporting. This is an index of witness statements from people who were not expected to testify at Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, but whose statements were nonetheless produced to her defense counsel in the run-up to her 2021 trial. We also have a smaller one with respect to those who were expected to testify. And based on those indices, as well as documents available in the file, MS Now can report that there is at least one witness for whom 3 interviews with the FBI in rapid succession in 2019 are missing. You might say, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, the big deal about that is that we can also confirm that that woman is the same person who in a 2025 FBI presentation is identified to have accused Donald Trump of a sexual assault when she was between 13 and 15 years old. We know that based on a human source who has confirmed to us that this woman is one and the same. So I want to make this very clear. There is a woman who, according to the FBI and documents compiled last summer, accused Donald Trump of sexually assaulting and physically abusing her. One of the things in her accusation is that in addition to forcing her to perform oral sex, he also hit her in that same episode. We have now connected that woman to someone who was interviewed by the FBI 4 times in 2019. Of those 4 interview memoranda, which are listed in this index that I'm holding up right here, only one of them can be seen. And in that interview, the accusations against Trump are not present. At the most, she says that she had met Trump on one occasion without detailing it. And when asked how she understood that Epstein was a person who committed abuse against her, she showed FBI agents a picture that she had been sent by a friend. It was a picture that she was reluctant to share with FBI agents because there was somebody else in the photograph. It turned out to be, according to this interview memo, a well-known photograph of Epstein and Trump together. She said that she was reluctant to show them the full image, lest she incriminate someone that she feared could retaliate against her. That's all that we know from what's publicly available in the files. But we know that this woman had other accusations against Trump. Where they are listed or where they've been memorialized, we're not sure. But we can tell you and our viewers that there are 3 other interview memoranda taken by the FBI that are not present anywhere in the Epstein files. And this.
You got everything so far, Lana?
I've heard her say it. She's been on every show on MS Now. Yeah.
She is definitely she has every single detail of
She's
every.
She's amazing.
Out here, let her finish.
This is a problem that we expect may have recurred with dozens of other witnesses whose files may not have been produced in their totality. Again, this index gives a unique numerical identifier to more than 500 witnesses and lists in numerical order the kinds of documents from which their statements were taken, everything from FBI interview memos to Palm Beach police incident reports to handwritten notes and the like. Going through those methodically, you can see as a layperson or as a reporter what has been produced in the files and what hasn't. And it's our expectation and understanding that there are many other instances in which witnesses, many of whom were alleged victims, don't have all of their statements produced. If these were important enough to give to Ghislaine Maxwell's defense, it's unclear to me what the rationale is for withholding them from the American public, particularly given the text of the Epstein Files Transparency Act.
I don't think it's that unclear.
The rationale given by the DOJ, have they given any reason for withholding these documents?
MS Now has not yet obtained a statement from the Department of Justice. However, NPR, which was the first to report on this morning, has obtained a statement from the White House in which they haven't defended the lack of transparency with respect to these 3 interview memoranda. Instead, they have fallen back on their defense that Donald Trump is the most transparent president in history, that he has fully committed to producing documents in compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. That's a defense that rings hollow to many of us who have been through these files and have seen not only over-redaction with respect to some suspects, over-redaction with respect to some individuals, under-redaction with respect to survivors, and now inexplicable withholding of documents.
So transparent, Londa. They're always going out there. I just don't understand how grown fucking adults can listen to these people speak and just believe one word that they say.
Exactly. and it's hilarious. It's almost like he knew that this was going to happen. So that's why he's been going on his little press junket talking about he's exonerated.
Yeah, right.
Like, what's the opposite of exonerated? Because that's what he's doing. He's playing the opposites game.
He rats himself out, just like the E. Jean Carroll thing. E. Jean Carroll wrote something in her book, didn't even mention Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump comes out and says, that wasn't me. And she's like, I didn't mention your name, you dumb fuck. Yeah. He keeps just throwing himself under the bus. But there's just, I don't know, people just say, he didn't do anything. He's fine. I get people ask all the time when I go on TikTok, they say, can you name one person that has accused Donald Trump. So first of all, Katie Johnson's one of them. And then, of course, they jump all over that. And they say, anybody credible? They say, there was an interview not too long ago where they were on NBC and there was 8 of them, and all of them said that Donald Trump didn't do anything. I said, there's more than 8 victims, you idiot.
To them, right? Exactly. There were like thousands. And this thing that she's talking about, remember, she said like these interviews were 2019. Who was president?
Right.
That's why the trail stopped, like, because he shut that shit down. And when MAGA, they crack me up when they're like, well, Donald Trump called the cops and said, yeah, Epstein's a bad guy. You wouldn't believe what he's doing. He's like, yeah, I would do that too if I was trying to clear myself of the shit that I was doing. I would legitimately be saying, yeah, I knew, like, you know what I mean? Like, try to get far
Thank you,
away.
police, for taking care of this awful man.
Exactly. Like, you try to get yourself away from it. Like, stop playing. And at a minimum, if he knows that he's so awful and just like letting it, y'all said nothing. Y'all did
Right.
nothing. You
Yep.
kept going back. You
Yep.
wrote him birthday cards, celebrated with him, took
Yep.
pictures.
Trump has that personality that he thinks that if he calls the police, he's so fucking dumb that the police are just going to go, well, he's clearly cleared because he called us and he's happy about the investigation.
Exactly.
Did he call in C-SPAN? Do you think that was him?
I don't think it was him,
I
but
don't think
I think it was an
But-
impersonator. I don't think he
But
would
this
even
reminds
know.
me of the John Barron thing that he used to do.
Absolutely. I think someone did that. What I don't believe is the assassination attempt, but you know.
Yeah, I don't believe anything that comes out of this White House. And by the way, turns out that this kid is a Trump supporter.
All of them, all 3, right?
Yep.
They're like
Yep.
all MAGAs.
But you know what's crazy? These idiots are just programmed to say, there goes the lunatic left again going after our president. And they don't care about the facts. They don't care about who did it.
He didn't even do it.
He,
He didn't even say it because he couldn't. And it's
Right.
so, you see when he did talk about it, how you could tell that they went into the spin room to try to figure out when they found out he was a registered Republican. They're like, how can we spin this? This is how we're going to spin it. So he comes out. He's like, you know what? You know, all the consequential, transformational presidents have assassination attempts. So now he's like, he's a transformational president. That's why this is happening. Like, that's how they spend it.
everything
Oh,
is
it's
so
funny. I don't know.
informative with these fucking idiots. And I really do believe, there's going to be more of these so-called assassinations. They need to get as much sympathy for this dude as
Yeah.
much as possible as Epstein continues to roll out and we get closer and closer to these to the midterms. Now, the one thing that I'm thinking about is, and this brings me back to even to 2024 for the people who had concern that votes were flipped and everything. If they could do the same thing again, why would they be panicking so much about November? You know what I mean? So I don't think that there is anything as far as worrying about them taking votes and flipping them, or they may be able to cast aside votes, mail-in votes.
Right. Because how do you flip them when you have other people on the ballot? Like, I don't like
But
there's
with
a
the machines, but they're convinced. The thing about human beings is they don't need to know the specifics, just as long as they believe it. If they believe
that's
that
on both
Elon,
sides too. That's both sides of that.
yes, it is. That's what I was saying. If they believe Elon Musk has the power and has software that can flip a vote in a machine, then it's justification to say they are changing votes. I truly don't believe that happens. I don't believe.
How machines aren't online. Are there any voting machines that are online? I mean, as far as I know,
Yeah, the other thing is none of them are online. They're not connected to anything
you have
online.
a ballot and you fill it in with this thing right here. So how do you? And then
I guess when it goes to the machine, somehow there's a way it could count for another
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they can count them, don't they?
they
Or
do. They, yeah. I think there are enough checks and balances. Again, here's the thing. In this country, there's never been any such thing as voter fraud.
right,
Every election has gone through free and fair. But all you have to do is put in the minds of people that it is fraudulent either way,
right.
and it's a good justification. Now, if anything, and I'm still saying that there's no fraud, but if anybody is actually going to do it, and if there was a way to do it, it would definitely be Trump and this administration and the
Agreed,
Elon Musk of the world.
agreed.
They are the ones who actually would legitimately do it if they could. But
Right.
I think because they're going through so many lengths that of trying to disturb this next election tells me they don't have any plans in place to just flip them through a machine like people thought that they did.
Right, because they really just go on, we got it. They're trying to, you know, we just can't let them get them ballots. That's because, like you said,
Right.
they'll throw them out. Did you see that the Supreme Court ruled that you cannot sue the post office if they do not deliver your mail?
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where they're going to try to get it. And that's why they're so desperate to get the voter rolls. How about they tried to fucking tell Tim Walz that we will remove ICE from Minneapolis if you turn over your voter rolls? Like, again, how is that not a major fucking story? What would be the purpose? And why are you not bombing the administration day after day after day with questions as to why do you need their voter rolls? And you better make it make sense. Don't give me a fucking stupid answer, because if you do, we're just going to keep pressing it. But no, they'll ask him. He'll say something stupid. And then you'll hear, Mr. President, Mr. President. And then the next question.
Yeah. It's
Fucking
true.
crazy. Speaking of Epstein, is this Chris Coons? I believe that Fox News is being featured many times tonight about the Epstein files. And of course, Fox News is not Fox News without hitting us with what about Biden?
About most of those things on the list. I think it's curious that people are bringing Epstein victims now, but they didn't. Why didn't they bring them during the Biden administration if it was such an important issue to them,
right,
Senator?
It was President Trump who ran on releasing the Epstein files. And so, frankly, he made it a core issue of his election campaign. It's striking how much he has dragged his feet.
Well, it could have been an issue for any one of these
harassing members of Congress,
yeah.
literally picking fights with members of his own party in the House of Representatives to try and coerce them into not signing a discharge petition. But, you know, bluntly, what I hear most from Delawareans is concern and alarm about the cost of living, about the ways that tariffs have been a tax on their daily costs and ways they don't have health care that they need.
My bet is you're going to hear a lot about the economy and a lot about the issues around the tariffs and the United States economy is going to be a big focus, no doubt. Senator Coons, thank you very much. We'll be watching to see you enter the hall tonight and covering the whole thing. Thank you.
I mean, it's just a woman that obviously doesn't care about the victims. It's, wait a minute, you're doing it now, but why didn't you do it during Biden? What difference does that make?
Right. Well, first, kudos to Coons for going on Fox News. But yeah, what aboutism is stupid, especially when with something like this. It's just like, okay, everyone has recognized that. So, and here's my thing with this. Let me just say this real quick. When they blame Biden for not doing this, Biden has nothing to do with the Department of Justice during his presidency. It is separate. Obama is separate from the Department of Justice. So whatever the Department of Justice was doing ain't none of their business, like, because they cannot pick up a phone and say, hey, why don't you work on this? Because that's not how it's supposed to be done. We're so in a backwards world when we're looking at Trump glued at the hip to Bondi that we think, like, why didn't Biden do it? Like, that wasn't his, it's not on him. As a president, he's not going to be on the pulpit talking about deal with this. Like, that wasn't what he was supposed to be doing. Now, it's fair to ask, his Department of Justice, whoever was the Attorney General at the time of
Yep.
Biden and Obama, but you can't
Eric
blame Biden and Obama for that.
Right. Right. I don't know. It's the hypocrisy of both or of this this administration, because you're right. Donald Trump has made people think that the Biden administration, the Obama administration, were using the Department of Justice to weaponize use them to weaponize against their political opponents, which there's zero proof of that. None. The other thing too is, if the same situation occurred under the Biden administration, where the Epstein files started to become a huge deal under his administration, what are the chances, do you think, that Joe Biden would have told everybody to shut up about it, that it's a hoax, that if you keep talking about it, you're not a supporter of mine, and said that, we're going to call people into the Situation Room and ask them not to sign a petition to have them released, and have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene now speaking out again? Do you think Biden would have held it up? Biden would have said, just do this, or you guys want to do this is your Department of Justice. If you say you want to release it, go ahead and release it.
Exactly.
He would have not stopped it. He wouldn't have commented on it, other than the questions that would have been asked to him about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's ridiculous.
You want to play, what were you going to say?
Oh, please tell me you have Christy Nome's video. Do you have her?
I don't. And you're usually really good at segues. But what about Biden again? Do you want to play that game one more time?
Sure.
All right. This is the economy. I'm not really sure what's happening, because one day these idiots tell us the economy is awesome. The next day they tell us it's Biden's economy and there's a problem. Again, grown adults listen to this same conversation within 1 week and take it all in and go, that's my man. That's my president. He told me that the economy is awesome, so today I'm going to say it's awesome. Then tomorrow when somebody asks me about it, I'm going to say, what about Biden? It is the fucking greatest magic trick I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Huh?
But here's Caroline Levitt doing her what about Biden on the economy. Lana.
Who are directly benefiting from his policies, and making a few new policy announcements as well to continue tackling the affordability crisis that Joe Biden created 1 year ago. And the president will be talking about the positive metrics we have seen and moving forward towards making life again more affordable and prosperous for all Americans.
See, that's why I hate when they're on Fox News. She would never, you would notice that press secretary would never ever step foot in any reasonable or credible, in front of a credible journalist, because she's saying that the crisis that Biden left a year ago, or before he left, what was the crisis and how did Biden do it? I mean, these are the questions that should be followed up. But
what she said a year ago, Trump was president a year ago.
Yeah, right.
There's that part.
That's the crisis that Biden left, which Biden left, again, I say this pretty much on a daily basis. Economic experts have said that Biden left him what was called the envy of the world when it came to the economy, post-pandemic recovery. Biden did a phenomenal job with the recovery. And if we were in Kamala Harris's economy today, I think that this country would be thriving. But we decided once again to hand the keys to a guy that on record has filed for bankruptcy 6 fucking times in his own business. He was so bad at what people thought he was good at.
Yeah.
It's documented. Like, if you really cared, you would know that he was so terrible. But nope, we're going to put him in charge of now the American economy, and he is handling it just like he does his businesses.
Facts. He starts shit and doesn't finish it. Guarantee
Right?
that ballroom does not get finished. Haven't.
And then let's other people clean it up.
Exactly. We haven't heard a word. Like, what's going on with the Kennedy Center? Like, what is happening in Venezuela? Like, we just went in, did nothing. It wasn't a regime change. We just took out Maduro, and his vice president is so it's the same politics. So what was the point?
And what's going on there anyway? I mean,
exactly.
Maduro is. I mean, Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows
What was
about.
the point? What
Yeah.
was the point? And we're still blowing up boats in the Caribbean. They're
Yep.
not even bothering. The last one, I didn't, and maybe I didn't hear it, maybe you heard it. I did not hear them say that they saw drugs on the boat. What I did hear them say was that they were using the same route that the cartel uses.
Right. Yeah. I have a question. If drugs were on the boat, who cares? That doesn't mean you bomb them.
That doesn't mean you blow people up for drugs. Like, at what country?
So to launch nuclear weapons.
And it's being normalized. Like, people are just kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not normal.
And how pathetic. Did you see them try to take their picture of the Situation Room during the Venezuelan bombing like it was the capturing of bin Laden? These people are so fucking.
They're blowing up people in boats, and meanwhile, every MAGA police officer or ex-pastor or whatever out here raping kids and wanting ancestor rings, like. But we're not talking about those people. Those people are okay, but the people in the fishing boat, we're just gonna blow them up. We just whatever.
I don't know if that's an algorithm thing or if that's. I'm almost going to guarantee it's true. Literally, when I go on Twitter, almost every day there's a new MAGA pastor, a new MAGA councilman getting arrested for child porn.
MAGA fireman with the MAGA hat on. So, like, we're not even making it up. They're wearing the hat, like they support. Because
how about the hockey dad that shot up? Did you see that went in and killed his family during that hockey game, that huge hockey game?
Yeah.
Well, apparently he was a transgender, but he was a big MAGA guy.
And he's a white guy. Like,
right.
Stop playing, right? So they do anything to make him something other than what he is.
Right.
White.
Yep. They're all young, like they said, they're all assassination attempt guys, the young Christian white family type people. And I don't know, maybe we need to do some more research into the white Christian family because they seem to be causing the most trouble.
And they love guns. Like, that's
they love guns.
Yeah.
I saw this clip, Lana. This is another one where Donald Trump likes to speak and you go, what the fuck did he just say? It's a fun game that we like to play. So let's see if we can figure out what he's trying to say here.
Crazy. You know, the mayor of New York, and he's a very nice person. I met him, but his ideology is not too good. But we're having a massive snowstorm right now. And I've heard that he's asked people to come out and help shovel the snow. Okay. So you get a shovel and you start shoveling, right? What the hell? You're not going to help too much, but you can help. And hello, darling, how are you? Noah, right behind you, look. My friend, right? Are you okay? Yes, you. Are you okay? Are you okay?
What?
Good.
What's happening?
Good. Are your eyes okay?
What?
I gave her money to get her eyes fixed. A lot of money to get her eyes fixed. That doctor ripped me off, but that's okay.
All right, Lana, what was he talking about?
Is he talking to his daughter? Like,
I have no idea.
Was his daughter in the room?
Well, he said his friend.
Oh, darling? He gave somebody money? Like, I'm just
eyes, but this was keep in mind, he was talking about Mamdani and snow and shoveling. And he sounded raw. I mean, he sounded like he's close.
Oh, is there more to it? Like, I just
that was it.
What was he even trying to say? Like, where was he going with the shoveling? Mom Donnie's told people to go outside and shovel. Is that what he said, or did he say shovel your sidewalks? Like, what are we talking about? Like,
this might be more of a case of Grandpa talking at the wedding, and we were just like, "Okay, Grandpa, come on."
Yeah, I'm with Dante. pretty much probably lost his place with the New York thing and then had to switch over to something else because he forgot what the point he was trying to make.
That is exactly it. He was losing his train of thought. And I think that this is happening probably behind closed doors more and more. He's got to be somewhat, you hear some people that were close to him said that he's been somewhat lifted by Adderall, stuff like that. I think some of that stuff keeps him going a little bit, but he sounded rough too. You could hear his voice cracking a little bit.
And
But
Adderall and aspirin? Jesus Christ.
what's that?
No, I said he's taking Adderall and tons of aspirin. Like,
Oh yeah, he's let's like I said.
I know.
Yeah.
He looked like he was leaning on the podium too. He always looks like he's leaning to the side.
Prepare yourself for an emergency black and white with Brian Rundle non-quest if he falls over tonight.
I just want him to sweat and just clutch.
Yeah.
Sweat and clutch. Sweat.
Almost one of those things where you could tell he was affected by something that happened to him and that he almost doesn't go out in public anymore because of it. He's so embarrassed.
Yeah. I would love for that to happen.
Yep. Where he almost has to be in a wheelchair and he can't really speak very well.
That would be really good.
That would be good. And you know what's funny? Fuck you, first of all, if you're listening to this and go, that's the president. You shouldn't be talking about him like that. Fuck you. This is an animal. He's an evil human being.
Yeah.
He's a terrible fucking monster. And I don't feel interested at all in talking positively about him. And I completely feel like talking negatively about him. I don't really give a fuck anymore at this point because he's that terrible of a human being. And he is making normal people like myself and the lovely Lana Quest here saying things and having thoughts that rationally we know are bad and that we normally would never have. But I believe they are real. And I don't believe we're alone in those thoughts.
No, he's evil.
He is. All right, Lana, the USA hockey team just won the gold medal. And as a big sports fan my entire life, you always like to see the Americans win the gold medal. Not necessarily. Thank you, Dante, for being here. I'm not necessarily rooting against them, but there was the only reason why you just kind of felt like it's not the same is because you knew these grifting assholes would take it over as if they had something to do with it. Even more strange, the FBI director is at this hockey game on the taxpayer dime for some reason, and he's in the locker room celebrating with them as if he's part of the team, which is weird. And then he puts Donald Trump on the phone. There's a longer clip. I fast forwarded to the one part which is going to get the most attention because I can't listen to these guys fake laughing at the dumb shit he has to say and pretending like they're excited. But here is him saying, Lana, that the women's team won too, and guess what he's going to have to do with them? Ha ha ha.
Do it if the White House ain't up. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay?
Yeah, he'd be impeached if he didn't invite those women, Lana. And what I love is the women said, yeah, okay, how about this? We're not coming. Fuck you. We wouldn't go anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That was so like, I don't get this group think, right? Like, y'all didn't think that was wrong. Like, he's talking about the women's team. Like, you're all Americans in the Olympics are a part of one big team, right? Whether you're this skating, you're just.
You have to assume they're friendly with each other too, in the same sport, rooting for each other.
What the fuck? That's not fucking funny. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Fucking Cash Patel jumping around like a friggin' lunatic. Like
he played on the team.
On our dime. How much did it cost for him to get there? $400,000 or something like that? Taxpayer money. Mm.
You brought up the group speak. The problem is that America had developed this culture over the last few years, this whole bro culture, that you're allowed to be like really dumb but think you're smart on a lot of things. And we've finally moved past this woke bullshit. So we can say misogynistic things and we can laugh out loud now, and the libs can't stop us anymore. It's that whole dumb fucking mentality that has been developed, and dumb men have taken over a space here and wedged themselves into a conversation in which they do not belong, but they are the most they have the most bravado about their stance on all of this stuff, and it's so incredibly lame. But the king of the bro culture is fucking Joe Rogan, who led the whole thing, who is responsible, somewhat responsible for the fact that we have this ridiculously stupid bro culture out there. And part of the reason why Donald Trump is president, because not only is he the lead bro, but the other backup bros all jumped on the same Trump bandwagon and interviewed him. And, oh my God, he's cool and he's hilarious. That's why I love him. First of all, he's not hilarious. There's nothing fucking funny about him. And he's as far from cool, he's as far from tough as you could possibly get. But these are dumb guy. This is the dumb man's idea of a strong man, and or a tough guy or a smart man. And that's why you attack dumb people. You get them into the professional wrestling part of politics, draw them in, and now they think, hey, this is awesome, this is cool. But Joe Rogan is having second thoughts, Lana, and he can't sleep at night anymore.
Good.
Let's hear what Joe has to say and why we should feel bad for Joe.
Like sometimes at nighttime, like I can't wind down.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This is like there's too much news. There's too much fucking madness. We're about to go to war with Iran.
I know.
Like everyone's eating beef jerky and pizza. Like what are these what the fuck is pizza?
I know.
You know, how far does this go? How come this never got released before? Like what is happening?
Joe never knew that anything like this could happen, Lana. He can't sleep at night. The Epstein files, that if you would have asked Lana and I, just Lana and I know we probably never would have talked to Joe Rogan, but before the election last year, if we had a conversation as to whether or not the Epstein files could be released under the president of Donald Trump, that you and I would have suggested to him that there is a 0% chance that Donald Trump would allow this, and he would think that we were crazy.
He can't sleep at night. Why? Like, I'm just, because there's so much going on.
He
He didn't remember like COVID, like when Trump
and he was responsible for making people stupid during that as well.
Yeah, like when Trump was president the first time, we were having the same anxiety. Like it was the same waking up to like a big pit in your stomach, like what is going to happen today? And the only difference is that now he has loyalists. There are no boundaries. And that is the thing that we were telling the Joe Rogans and the rest of these Andrew Schultz and the rest of these idiots. Like, dude, it's gonna be that times 10. But I mean, like, I don't know how they got conned. Like, I don't know. Like you said,
you're not smart, Lana. They come across as smart to their audience because Joe Rogan will sit there and look so inquisitive, and he has this way about him to make it look like, oh my God, I'm taking in so much unbelievable information that nobody else would hear anywhere else. Because what I'm doing is I'm interviewing the 9 out of 10 doctors who agree. I'm interviewing the 10th doctor and defying the other 9 doctors, and he sounds really smart. So we're just going to go with his opinion instead of the other 9.
It's so stupid. Like, it's like typically sometimes when people aren't like super book smart, they have common sense. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just give or take. But it's like these guys have neither, because common sense would say, just like you said, Trump has had all of these bankruptcies. Why would you put him in charge of the government? Trump stole from his charity. what do you think he's going to do when he's in the White House if he steals from his charity? He has lied about, insurance. He's a felon. We watched it. We saw the evidence. He adjudicated rapist. And it goes on and on.
Insurrectionist.
Yeah, it just goes on and on. And y'all was like, that's the guy. Then you have the tapes of, him bragging about walking in on, naked.
Whenever he can.
Yeah. You heard him talk about Lindsay Lohan, if wanting, sex with troubled teens is the best. Like we grab them by, you heard it too. Stop playing with us. Come on.
And you're telling me at this age that he's going to change? He's going to get worse.
Right, exactly.
In the I don't give a fuck stage of his life. And he's even to a mental acuity part of his life to where that I don't give a fuck is going to come out tenfold.
That part. It's like, what did you think? Like, he's like, I'm just going to do. He said, they asked him, what would you do, on day one, or the dictator question? And he said, I'll be a dictator on day one. Like,
right.
He said it. What are you? Oh, he's lying.
Yeah. I am past the it would never happen stage of Donald Trump. So even if you mention the most ridiculous thing, because a lot of people will say, well, it's looking like 1930s Hitler Germany, and now we're building concentration camps, and we know what happened in those concentration camps. And I hear people go, all right, no, that's getting a little crazy. Let's not bring that up because that will never happen. Like, okay, let's say you and I agree that the chances of them using incinerators, which, by the way, I've heard that there are some incinerator purchases that are being made by the government, which is a very strange thing. And I'll look a little bit more into that. I saw a report about it not too long ago. But let's say we agree that it's not likely to happen. Where I am now at the point where I'm not interested in letting it progress any further, because any possibility of it happening would happen under this administration. And you should not be surprised about anything now.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, no, maybe they won't have incinerators, but they'll use other means, right? Like they'll just beat them to death and call it a suicide. Why do they need an incinerator? Right. They could just do that because they're giving ICE agents immunity. So it doesn't matter. So they are using planes, trains, automobiles, whatever, to get them to these camps. And they absolutely are kids. The kids aren't even getting water.
Did you hear that on CNN? I can't watch like the Abby Ford show.
Right?
Huh?
Oh no, you said CNN. I thought you were talking about that 6-year-old, how they left that 6-year-old in the house.
Oh no. I was talking about the lady who, when they were sitting around talking about these the internment camps, basically, that they're putting these prisoners in, that she goes, well, it's my understanding that they are getting education, they are getting food, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And the one girl, the politics girl, just laughed right in her face. And she just kind of stopped and stared at her. It's like, but that's the response what they deserve. You need to be laughed at right in your face when you are trying to pass along to us that they are taking these undocumented immigrants, putting them in prisons, and saying, guys, we're here to teach you. We're here to nourish you.
Yeah, we're going to take care of you. We're beating you up on this. And here's the other piece that is not being talked about either. The fact that we're taking undocumented immigrants and putting them in these centers, but like chaining them up and treating them like prisoners when they're not.
They have zero criminal
crimes. Is in like, why are they in jail?
Yep.
Why are they being shackled? And they haven't committed crimes. Like
I just don't understand how you could go to work and your job is cruelty towards human beings. I can't put that. And I think what bothers me, I was kind of talking about this the other day, and I was talking to you before this a little bit, Lana, is that when I think about this kind of, because obviously we knew that this country has had issues for centuries, right? And we knew that during this time that there were people in power that made it harder for certain people in this country. The difference, what I'm seeing now is that people that I know, people in my life, are either not talking out about it or defending it. And that didn't happen before. So it kind of makes everything that I do now less fun. It makes everything, everything that I was excited about. No, yeah, don't get me wrong. I can still get excited about stuff. I had more excitement during that fucking Miami Hurricane run a month ago than I had had in a long time. But it does diminish knowing that it's not just the cruelty from the people in charge, but it's also the amount of people that you have found that have been exposed that don't seem to have a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, we heard that video of that guy that was like, I would do this shit for free.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, and you heard the whistleblower too, that testimony about what's going on. Did you see that? Like, what the frick? But it's
Yeah.
what we knew. No training. We should be very afraid because there's no gun safety training. Like, cut all of the hours on that. No constitutional training, like not use of force training. Like, they're just throwing them into the fields, basically.
47 days of training, and they use that day 47 because of the number of the president number 47. I mean, listen how this administration is so fucking dumb. They just named their major piece of legislation the big, beautiful bill because Donald Trump's vocabulary is that of a 12-year-old. And that is the name of a major piece of legislation that is destroying the lives of many people. It makes no fucking sense.
It's pretty disgusting. And then you got Christy Nome, just the Mile High Club, just flying around with Lewandowski, who is married. She is married, and she wants a new plane. It's just with a
It
big.
is absolutely wild. And these people are walking around with their shoulders out saying, who's going to stop us? And laughing in the faces of people. However, the panic, that's the other thing sometimes about humans. When you get to a position like Donald Trump, that's the reason why he says whatever he wants to all the time, because he has this feeling. He's already been told the Supreme Court, and in his head, this is why he's so surprised about this last ruling. In his head, the Supreme Court at one point told him he can do whatever he wants to do. That's his thought process because he thinks like a child. He doesn't realize there are nuances behind what the Supreme Court ruling was. And so he walks around with bravado. Kash Patel doesn't seem like the brightest person in the world either. He walks around with this bravado. Kristi Noem does it. All of them do it. But what happens is with a lot of these people who just are not bright enough to completely see the full picture, the crash is hard. And the crash is going to come down hard on these fucks. And that's the one thing I'm so excited about, is that we will be around to see it. And I am positive it's going to happen. We just hope it's sooner than later. But it will happen, and I will be excited when the crush comes down on these people.
I absolutely agree. It's like they think that they're going to be in power forever.
Yep.
That's impossible, right? That is an impossibility.
Yeah.
It's an impossibility. Trump can pardon you, but guarantee some of y'all committed some state crimes.
Right.
Especially with these ICE officers. Like,
Yep.
do you think that you're going to get off? Like, there's no statute of limitations for murder. Like, it's dumb. They're just really, I don't know.
I'll tell you what else they're not thinking about. And maybe I'm wrong. And if I am, we'll talk about it later. But they're not thinking about these people. Forget about Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's just going to keep rolling over people. He's going to do his thing. He's positive nothing's ever going to happen to him, and it's possible nothing will. Who knows? But what they don't understand is that Donald Trump will be gone off this planet someday, and there is no other backup Donald Trump.
Right.
JD Vance is as lame as a human being. There are already plenty of people on the right going, I cannot stand JD Vance.
Correct.
Nobody has the, I guess if you want to call it, charisma of Donald Trump that could take over the minds of these people to give JD Vance or any other of these weirdos the same sort of power that Donald Trump wields.
Right.
And they're not going to be able to get away with it the way Donald Trump will. And they're going to wind up being fucked.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Just like Donald Trump does all the time. He walks away from a disaster and everybody else gets fucked.
Yeah. Look at Marco Rubio. What an idiot.
Yep.
Like, what an idiot. He knows better, but here he is.
Yep. Well, we'll see. All right, Lana, you did your show.
I did do my show. Don't even remember the date. I don't know what date it was. Was it Thursday, Friday? I don't know. I did it.
It doesn't matter because the show's over now. And what you could do is you can go to the Quest Show, subscribe to her page, and then you can also watch the replay of her show from last week. And I highly encourage always people to go to the Quest Show and please subscribe to her. Anybody out there watching, if you have not subscribed to Lana's channel, please go out there and do that. She comes on whenever the fuck she wants. She's a diva, and there's nothing wrong with being a diva because she just goes, look,
whenever.
Yeah. Lana's a busy woman. So, and then, of course, you can catch me on my TikTok where we fuck up mega morons, and it's a lot of fun.
That is, they all sound the same too. Like I was listening to the one that I sent you. I was like, oh my God, this reminds me of your show because that dude that called in, I'm like, why does it sound like one of your callers? And he's literally like,
because we always say the same thing. They have this dumb, flat affect, like,
what's wrong with child rape? So he did do all those things. What's wrong with it?
They all sound exactly the same. That's why I encourage people. I just go, everybody goes, oh, I'm afraid to do a TikTok. I'm like, why? They're like, I don't know what to do. I say, yeah, you do. You get on there and idiots come up and they have no idea what they're talking about. And all you have to do is respond to idiots. That's all you have to do. It's easy.
Yeah, don't let them change the topic. That's it.
Yep. Nope. And they try to do it. That's funny. They always come up to me and they're like, you don't like to debate. I said, who the fuck said this is a debate? This is no debate. This is you coming up here and you getting schooled because you're an idiot. And this is not a debate because debates require a thought process from both people in which one of the or both of them can have some valid points. You have zero valid points. This is not a debate, you dummy.
But Biden is not a debate.
But Biden is not a debate. Absolutely. Right. When you come in and go, let's debate the economy, and Biden left Trump the highest inflation of all time, then the debate ceases to be a debate. It's no longer a debate.
Right.
So, all right. Well, Lana, it's great seeing you. Babs is here. Carrie's here. Renee's here. Thank you for being here, Jen. Thank you for Jen always helps me out too offline too. So I appreciate you, Jen. Dante, thank you for coming by. Donna, Glenn, thank you for being here. Who else are we missing? We're not missing Heather. Heather's here. Area 51. Ray was here. And I believe we got all of them. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But we'll be back again next Tuesday for Black and White with Brian Rundle, Not a Quest. If you have not subscribed, do it right now. And we will see you again next week.
Be safe out there.
All right. Good night, Lana.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.